Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Abu Pasha here again. Today I'm going to be discussing the house buying process, and we're going to go through it step by step, what it entails, what you need to do, what will be expected of you, the house buyer, and I'll also try and drop in some tips for you as well along the way. The very first thing that you want to do is looking at properties on Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market. So Rightmove is the biggest website there is, and this is what Rightmove looks like. Ideally what you want to do is you want to start from the lowest price. You type in your area or postcode that you're looking for. You might want to do a radius, maybe quarter of a mile, half a mile, etc. You pin the maximum price, so if your maximum price is say 600,000, if you want maybe like a two bedroom property, you can enter your property type. If you want say something like terrace property or semi-detached or a detached, in other words you want a house. And in the filter section, if you don't want a new home, if you don't want any buying schemes, if you don't want any retirement home, you just click those and it should filter it out. So here we've got a property, a 2-bedroom end of terrace house in London E12 for £275,000 for example. And there's a lot of properties that you can check out. Then we said on the market, and let's just say that you're looking at properties in near Darlington Station. So we'll click that, and then a whole bunch of properties come out here. And you've got a bunch of filters here. And the other one we said was Zoopla, and again you might put down, I don't know, Darlington for example. Darlington Station, let's do that. And again you get a list of properties. So those are the 3 big websites that you should use to shortlist your properties. It will also give you an idea as to what sort of prices are realistic. So for example, if your budget is 300,000, then you can check on these websites to see what sort of properties are available for that price. So it will give you an idea and allow you to hone in on what you should expect for that money. After you've got a very good idea as to what area you're looking at, what sort of prices you're going to be paying, and also how many bedrooms and what sort of condition, what sort of size of property you're going to end up getting, you should have a very good idea as to what you'll be able to get. Then what you do is you start creating a shortlist. So you might go to Rightmove and you might save a bunch of properties and you might compare them, and after you've compared them you decide, okay, right, these are the properties that I want to go for. So you've got a bunch of properties listed by URL. You might have a spreadsheet that you've made and you copy and paste all those URLs in, and then what you do is you're going to take the phone numbers of the agents, write them down in your spreadsheet. So in this case you've got this Samuel King call agent, and that's your phone number. Make a whole list of phone numbers, and then you start calling. Start making viewing appointments. Mentally, you're now preparing yourself. You're getting into the groove of house hunting. So you're making viewings, you're speaking to agents. Now here's a tip for you. When you make your viewing appointment, you can pump the agent for information. There is information that they're allowed to give. There is information that they really shouldn't give, but these people are human beings that you can, in a roundabout way, get out of them. Right, now, after you have viewed a good chunk of properties, maybe 3-4 minimum, what you should do, ideally, is list the properties that you viewed in order of preference. So you're going to have your best property as number 1, the second preferred property number 2, the third preferred property in number 3, and the last property in 4. And what you're going to try and do, you're going to try and reach an agreed price, first of all for number 1, but if that fails, then you can switch down to number 2. If that fails, then you go to number 3. If that fails, then you go to number 4. And you'll be putting in offers over the phone with an agent. Here's another tip. Tell them that I have viewed a bunch of properties, I'm a serious buyer, hopefully I want to get an offer accepted within the next few days. So what I'm doing is I'm calling agents, I'm making offers on properties that I've viewed, and you are one of them. So the sooner we can get a deal arranged, the sooner we close. So do tell the agents this. Make it very clear to them that this is not the only property you're interested in. The other thing is, do not ever fall in love with a property. It's just an object. Yeah, you fall in love with people, you might fall in love with the pets. Don't fall in love with objects. Today you like that property, you'll probably find a better property around the corner later on. If you cannot agree good price for a particular property, move on. Now at some point, you are going to have an offer accepted. They're going to say, we need this from you. And what they'll normally do is they'll send you an email stating that your offer is accepted for this property. They'll send you some forms to fill out. So you fill them out, you email them back, and they'll also ask you to provide certain things. Number one, they will ask you to prove your funds. So if you're buying on a mortgage, let's say a 90% loan to value mortgage, then you will need to provide 10% proof of funds. This is usually a screenshot of your bank account, of your current bank account, your savings account. The other thing they'll want is ID. So the ID usually is two forms. One is usually a passport, and the other one is usually like a bank statement, something with your name and address on it. After you've done all this, you need to speak to a mortgage broker. And I'll show you. So you go to Google, just type in mortgage broker, and my favorite ones to go for are L&C, but to be honest, you can go to many mortgage brokers. There's this one, Habito. This is an online mortgage broker. They've apparently got good reviews, so I actually prefer to go with L&C. Both of them are free to us. So what we mean by that is that you go to this mortgage broker, they'll arrange a mortgage for you, and there's no cost to you. So you give the mortgage broker a phone call. This is L&C, this is their number. You'll want to give them a phone call and say, I've put a property under offer, I need to arrange a mortgage, help me. What they will then do is that they will call you back. When they do, they'll take down all your details. They'll go through a whole bunch of questions, which may take about 1 hour. They will go through your earnings, they will go through your expenditure, they will go through any assets that you might own, they will go through your entire financial history. The mortgage broker at this time will then say, right, that's all done. Now they will go and research the best loan for you, the best mortgage for you, the best rate for you, and they will call you back. But in the meantime, what you must tell them is that, can you email me a mortgage in principle certificate? That certificate is very important. They will email that to you. This certificate basically just tells anybody that they are prepared, based on the information that you've given them, without running any credit searches. They are willing to lend you money, and based on what you've told them, that they can lend you this much money. It might be 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, whatever, but they'll write that down. You will then send that mortgage certificate over to the estate agent, because the estate agent will want proof that you can get mortgage. After that, sit tight, wait a few days. Depending on how busy the mortgage brokers are, they'll give you a call back maybe one day, maybe the same day, maybe later on in the week, whatever, but they'll give you a call back, and they will then state the following. They'll say, we found this mortgage for you, the mortgage rate is this, this is the length of the fixed rate, it might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And once you've accepted that, they will then email the paperwork over to you, and now you've got to leave the mortgage broker to their own devices. Now they will start doing their own thing. In time, the mortgage broker will ask you to send them proof of funds, for the deposit. They will also ask you to send them pay slips for your job and details of your solicitor. Okay, which now brings me on to the next one. The next stage is that you have to find a solicitor to deal with the conveyancing process. So what I did was I went to Google and I just typed in conveyancing solicitor Trustpilot. That then takes me to this screen, and basically you've got a whole bunch of solicitors here, property solicitors who do conveyancing, and they've got reviews. So if we click on that, and then you're going to get a whole bunch of reviews here. And this is a 5-star, excellent, 97% 95% say that their service is excellent. So this might be a solicitor that you want to choose. So anyway, what you do is take 4 solicitors, go to their websites, get their email addresses, and then email them asking for quotes for them to do your conveyancing. And just email saying, I'm looking to buy a property, it's under offer, the property value is 500,000, whatever it is, and there's going to be a mortgage attached, 85% loan to value, I've got cash to pay for the 15%, what do you charge? Then you sit and wait, and you're going to get quotes back from those 4 solicitors, and then you will choose one. You will then reply to the one that you've chosen to use, and you'll say, yes, I accept. What do you need from me? Just ask them that. They will then reply back saying, we need this, this, this. Now, normally what they want are pay slips, they want proof of funds, they want the estate agent's name, but they might even send you out a form that you have to fill out, and all this information will be in there. Email it back to them, and bang, that's that done. Then what you do is, you can go back to the mortgage broker and email them the name of the solicitor that you have chosen. Also, the estate agent, email them the name of the solicitor that you've chosen. And that's it, that's all done. Now you're going to wait. So now what's going to happen is the lender is going to send out their surveyor. The surveyor will go to the property and they will value the house, making sure that the money that you're willing to pay for it, say 300,000, that the property is actually worth that. And for most cases, it gets valued correctly. Now, in the meantime, the solicitor will make a charge to you. They will ask you to pay up something like £250, and they will say, transfer this into our account or pay by debit card. They don't take credit cards usually. So they will now continue with their work. Now, once that's all done, you sit and wait. Usually you're going to have to wait about 2 months now. And during this time, if you feel that things are going a bit slow, you might want to speak to the agent and tell them to hurry things along. You might want to speak to your solicitor, tell them to hurry things along. Eventually your solicitor will send you a contract back, you read through it, you sign, you get a witness to sign, and then you send it back to the solicitor, and you can use special delivery for that. So now the contract pack has gone back to the solicitor. The next stage is dates. There's 2 things that will happen. One is the exchange date. Now, what is an exchange date? When you make an offer on a property, you don't own the property, and you are not under contract to buy the property. 2 or 3 weeks later, even after you've got the mortgage sorted, the solicitor sorted, you can pull out. That's how the English system works. Once you have exchanged, you cannot pull out without penalties. You'll lose your deposit. That is the time that you are now obligated to buy the property once you exchange. So what you do is you set an exchange date and a completion date. Completion is basically when you get the keys. You can also have exchange and completion on the same day. The solicitor will tell you how much money they need to complete the exchange. Once they tell you that, you transfer the funds over by bank transfer. They now have the funds and they can do their exchange. And then on completion day, the remaining balance will also be due. The solicitor will send you a statement. You transfer that money over to the solicitor. Bang, that's it, done. And what will happen is that the solicitor will notify you when the purchase has been completed. As soon as the solicitor tells you that the purchase has been completed, you can call the estate agent, give them your name, tell them that you're buying a certain property and that you've now been informed that the property purchase has been completed. Can I collect the keys? What will then happen is that the estate agent will then communicate with the seller's solicitor to confirm that. They'll confirm it, they'll say yes, and they will then call you back saying yes, you can come and collect the keys. When that's all done, you collect your keys and that's it, you move in. So there you have it, guys. That's a roundup of what to expect when buying a property, and I hope that gives especially first-time buyers a good guide of what to expect when buying a property. Right, now these videos take me a long time to make, a lot of time to prepare for, so if you can, please drop me a like and a subscribe. This would be very much appreciated. It will help me grow the channel, and I shall see you next time. Thank you.